tell me if your name on the screen is correct or what your name or names are, and then who you're representing here today, whether you're a member of the applicant team or an owner or a surrounding property owner or someone else. So I'll start with the group here under Nicole DeGreg. If you could, whoever's going to testify here today or intends on providing some commentary at all, if you could just give me your name.
I'm Nicole DeGreg.
Okay.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Phil DeGreg.
Okay, and the DeGregs are you all looks like are the
We're all
owners of
the
the property, is that
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, you said Nicole and DeGreg and who else?
Philip.
Bill DeGreg.
Carol
Okay.
DeGreg.
Carol DeGreg.
Carol DeGreg, and then
Working Rustand.
Could you spell that for me?
FORDKENG
KING.
KING RUSTAND.
Okay. Ford King.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it all right if I call you Ford King?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is it Rutam?
Roostan.
Rustand, that's my last name.
Roostam. Okay, I can do I can handle that. Thank you guys.
You can call
All
him Marlon. That's what he goes by.
By what?
Marlon.
Marlon? Okay. Even better.
That's
Welcome everyone.
Thank you.
All right, and then I see we have Brian Gritter.
Grider.
Grider. Okay, and you're the applicant on the project, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Great. Welcome everyone. Are we expecting anyone else to join us from the applicant or owner side?
No.
Okay, great. So we also have Kate Meehan here from the planning department. Welcome, Kate.
Good morning.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I need to read through the hearing script. This will just cover the procedure of the hearing, and then we'll get started. So this is the July 31st, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. The case before us today is case number ZH20240093. That's 3360 Bishop Street. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow all of the Gregs and Marlon and Mr. Girder at that time to tell me about the project. It's really up to you how you want to orient your presentation. One of you can speak, all of you can speak. However you all want to sort that. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after you all had presented your case. I will hear from the planning department and Ms. Meehan to provide testimony in addition to her staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was provided in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements after all presentations have been made. I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's a defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do here is to get everyone sworn in. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So I'm going to do that collectively right now with everyone that intends on testifying. So if that's you, you could make sure that you're off mute and raise your right hand. I need you to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay, great. All right, who's going to be taking the lead for us here on the testimony from the app?
I think I will.
Okay, floor is yours.
All right. Well, I'm just going to read the statement that I sent to the zoning board. For the most part, we're asking for a zoning relief for a carport and porch project for the proposed 3360 Bishop Street, which is located in the Hillside District. The main reason we're asking for relief is that the side yard setbacks do not meet the average side yard setback for the Hillside District. First, we'd like to say that the project does meet the 3-foot side yard setback for the underlying SF4 zoning. And in addition to that, the project falls within the maximum building envelope in size, just not in location. One of the reasons that the property to the north has an uncharacteristically large setback on one side of the house, which skews the average yard setback for the proposed parcel, making the setback larger than most in the neighborhood. Second, we are indeed in the hillside overlay district. The proposed location of the carport and porch, however, are not on the hillside of the property, which abuts Ruther Avenue. The elevation change within the footprint of the project is only about a foot between the highest and lowest point. So there will be no excavation and or fill for all intents and purposes. So we feel we should have relief from the hillside overlay district side yard setbacks and only have to adhere to the SF4 zoning. Thank you.
Okay, great. So what is the proposed setback and what is the setback standard that you have to exceed?
I believe the average setback was something like, I'm not 100% sure. Kate might be able to help me out on that. It was around 20 feet. And we are proposing a 3-foot setback, which is a standard for the SF4 zoning, just not for the hillside district.
Kate, do you want to jump in? Is it 20.2
Yes.
feet? Is that
So
what
it's when we do the hillside averaging, because the residents to, if you're looking at 3360, the residents to the left sits on a very large plot of land and has large setbacks in the side yard. So that essentially skews the averaging. So if based on their side yard, the setback here would be 20.2 feet.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Kate. So to the applicants, it outside of the property to the north is, and I'm looking at the Google satellite map here, it looks like 3 feet is pretty common as you go to the south, down towards Jefferson. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
A lot more dense to the south.
Yeah, it's basically just mostly there's like 1 or 2 properties on the street that have larger setbacks. Everything else is pretty standard for that neighborhood.
Gotcha. Okay. And are you proposing, which side are you proposing to put the carport?
It was on
Which
the
side of the
north
house?
side. The
Okay,
north
so
side
it's-
where the driveway is existing.
Gotcha. And it's also, it would be sort of be adjacent to the property to the north with the larger setbacks.
Yes.
So, okay, got it.
And if I'm not
all right.
mistaken, that setback is actually part of their driveway as well and parking area.
Got it. Okay. Any anticipated adverse effects from this carport, blocking light, wind, anything like that?
No.
Will a carport be enclosed or on
No, it's
either
a
side?
post and roof structure.
Got it. Okay. Anything the owners would like to add at this time?
The only thing I would add is that we have letters from both the neighbors on the right and left of our houses that are in support of this. We've already spoken with them about that, and they have no objections at all to doing that. So if we need to provide those, we have those.
Got it. Thank you. All right. Anything else from the applicants or owners before I turn it over to Kate?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Ms. Meehan, anything?
The only thing I would really bring up is, again, this project meets the underlying zoning. The only reason that the relief is needed is because it does not meet the hillside average. So if there were no hillside involved in this project, it would be able to be approved administratively because it meets all of the underlying zoning requirements. One thing I would mention is that on review of the application, and the applicant or owners may be able to address this, There is a requirement in the zoning code that any driveways, anywhere where parking is done, that it needs to be on a paved surface, and some of this driveway is gravel. So my question is about if there is a proposal to pave this, or or how long the gravel driveway has been here. So there was a question about that.
All right, I think I can turn that over to Phil.
Statement in front of me that I sent to you, Brian.
Yeah.
Can you read it to them?
Do you have the statement
Oh.
there?
I have it on my phone. Do you have it available?
Sorry.
Uh,
Where's your phone, Deb? I can summarize. Yeah. Essentially, we spoke with the previous owners of the house that we purchased in 2019. And they were there for 40 years prior to us and advised that the driveway had been put in the mid 1980s. So is that what the statement said?
yeah, basically.
Basically around that time. So we're looking at about 40 years of existence for this driveway. And I'm not sure what the cutoff is for it to be considered a historical, but that was when the driveway was put in. And we would prefer not to have to pave and to continue the gravel underneath the parking structure, given the historic presence of this driveway. However, we can adjust if that's what's required of us.
Anything, Kate?
I mean, in the past, I know we've had situations where someone, again, had a gravel driveway, and I think it had been there like since the 1980s, or there was a private drive. And because they were done prior to current zoning, I think we have allowed those to remain as kind of a grandfathered in gravel drive. So that has been my experience. And I mean, I've only had one other, but it did date back to the 1980s. And I think we determined that that would be grandfathered.
Kate, though, is that when does that example include when they're making changes to home
So
or coming in for zoning relief?
right. So I can tell you that this person was not coming in for zoning relief. It was a situation where an inspector went out and saw that their driveway was not paved. And I think it was in response to a complaint from a neighbor.
Got it. Okay. Anything from the applicants or owners in response to that?
I would just like to say that we're not actually changing the location of the driveway at all within the new scope of the work. We're just simply building the carport over top of the existing location. So it's not expanding or changing in any way. It's just being covered.
Sure. Okay. All right. I don't think I have any more questions. Anything from the applicants or owners in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
I don't have anything. Phil, do you have anything?
So
No. Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that then. So I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. And based on that, and based on the testimony I've heard here today, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. As soon as I finish that, I will put it into a PDF and email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that, Kate can approve the zoning permitting on her end, and hopefully you can take the next steps. I'm not 100% sure about this paving issue. That's something I'll have to look into a little bit more. If there is any legal requirement that happens, it's something that I would include in my written decision, or if a portion of it, I don't know. It's something I would include in my initial decision. I just don't know offhand right now what the legal requirements on that are. But either way, the carport will be approved and you'll be able to construct that. Let's see, any questions about anything?
Do you need anything additional in writing from us at this time?
I don't. If you want to forward the letters of support from the neighbors, I can add them to the case file. And just so we have a complete file.
I think you should actually have those in
Do I have those already? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
they should
David,
be in the.
Great. Perfect.
I do have
So-
those.
Yeah. So there's nothing else I need, Mr. Greg, but if I do have any follow-up questions or things like that regarding the paving, that's a discussion that, you may hear from me or Kate offline, to discuss how to move forward with that. Okay.
Do we need to wait for the for your PDF before we can proceed any farther on the plan? No, we can-
Well, so you cannot begin, and Kate, back me up here. You cannot begin any construction, or actually, break any ground, so to speak. But other things to get prepared for that, I believe, are within your discretion. And also, if you have any building permits that still need to go through and be approved, you can start that process as well while you're waiting for the decision to be issued.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Are they going to automatically start reviewing my plans now that the zoning, or are they going to wait for the 2 weeks before they even start to look at those? Because I know they got kind of kicked back when the zoning got disapproved.
Kate, do you?
They may wait and to see that zoning has signed off on it before they start reviewing.
And will that be 2 weeks, or do you sign off?
I mean,
now that the hearing-
I typically sign off once I see David's written decision come in, I typically will go in and sign off that very day.
Okay.
So I do try to get to it immediately.
And Mr. Greider, I don't think it would hurt to contact the building department, let them know that this has been sort of initially approved and you'd like to get the process of the building permits going as soon as possible.
Okay.
They may
All right.
tell you they need my decision, but I think the main thing is that if your application is in, then that's a good head start on that. Sometimes we have folks that don't even have that in.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we submitted it to and found out we needed to be here. So
yeah, gotcha. Okay. Great. Well, if you have any questions about the process at all in the meantime, you can reach out to me directly. I'm sure Kate would be happy to field questions as well. And then if you want an update on the status of the decision, you can also email me directly. I'll let you know where I'm at. But I think 2 weeks is probably realistic just based on my current queue of cases, which is towards the end of the summer gets pretty high. All right. Unless there's any questions now, we'll leave it at that. I want to thank you all again for your time, your testimony. Good luck with the project, and we are adjourned. Have a good day.
All right.